Welcome back to Blurred Summits. Today on episode number 24, we're going to be talking about self-confidence. So first, we're going to talk about the sources of self-confidence, then building self-confidence, how to do so, and then tips about self-confidence, about how to help others regarding self-confidence.
Yes, sir.
So Abdul, what is self-confidence?
So self-confidence by definition is the belief that you can successfully perform a desired behavior or task, right?
Yeah.
The interesting thing about self-confidence is that self-confidence is what they call a reciprocal relationship. So basically, when you have higher self-confidence, you can perform better. Mm-hmm. But at the same time, when you perform better, you have higher self-confidence. So it's kind of like a hamster wheel. They go hand in hand. They go hand in hand.
One goes up, the other goes up, and vice versa.
Exactly. Exactly. Now, the downside is that one goes down, the other goes down as well.
Yeah, it's a slippery slope going the other way back down there, unfortunately. So you just have to be aware of that, I guess, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and there's this really cool thing. It's called the self-confidence curve. And it shows you, okay, what kind of level of self-confidence does an individual want to have? Mm-hmm. And you guys, as you guys can see on screen, the curve is slightly skewed in one direction. And for our audio listeners,
it's an upside down bell curve skewed slightly to the right.
Skewed slightly to the right. So essentially what this graph is telling us is that to have the best performance, you want your confidence not to be too high so that you're overconfident. You don't want it to be too low, but you want it to be closer to the side of more confident, right? You want to be above average in confidence.
Just right. The Goldilocks effect. You want to
exactly
not too much, not too little, right in the middle.
Well, right
on the peak.
Exactly.
On the peak, obviously, where you're maximizing both confidence and performance.
Exactly.
So, what are some sources of self-confidence? I'm sure lots of people have an idea of this, but there might be some they don't know about.
Yeah. So the biggest, most obvious source of self-confidence, and this is the most dependable based off the research, is performance achievements and performance accomplishments. Mm-hmm. Basically, if you do well, if you do a task well, if you succeed in a competition, whatever, you are going to have higher self-confidence. This is the most dependable
And
factor,
I think, everyone kind of relates to that one, right? Mm-hmm. Hey, I did good. I get more confident.
Exactly.
And then vice versa. You do bad. You kind of dip a bit, but...
Yeah. The next one is what they call vicarious experiences. So seeing other people and modeling other people and seeing how a person performs well and wins, this actually increases your own self-confidence because it gives you an assurance that, okay, this has been a proven strategy to work. If I do this person has done it and it's worked for them. So if I do it, it will work for me too. And that will increase our self-confidence.
Yeah, I think it's the knowing that it can be done is what kind of builds that confidence, right? If you're on a path for something, say doing good on like a test or something, we'll go simple with that. If you see someone write a similar test and do well on it, like I can do that too. If they can do it, why can't I, right? And then that obviously brings up the confidence and just helps you perform better at the same time.
Yeah, exactly. The next one is verbal persuasion, right? This is somebody hyping you up, essentially, right? A person telling you, a person telling you that you're good at something and that you're confident and that you have good energy around you. If somebody tells this to you, it'll increase your self-confidence. Mm-hmm. And more importantly, if you tell it to yourself, it will also increase your self-confidence.
Yeah, that means it's nice to know that you don't need someone else to be your hype man. You can be your own hype man. Mm-hmm. You just got to get in your own head, right? We've talked about this so many times before where it's so easy to trick yourself into believing things good or bad. So you just got to trick yourself in the good, be conscious of it and trick yourself in the right direction.
Yeah.
Like that, get yourself hyped up, energetic, confident before a test, and then you go perform better on the test because of it.
Exactly. Yeah, this another source of self-confidence that's a little bit more abstract is imaginary experiences, right? Closing your eyes and imagining yourself being more confident or performing better or doing something more smoothly and at a higher pace. This increases your self-confidence.
So like meditation and things like that?
Yeah, this can be done through meditation. It can be done through just sitting there and just imagining, close your eyes and imagine yourself performing well.
Yeah, well, because I know with a lot of like the guided meditation ones, that's like for good vibes, all this for success, whatever, good sleep, whatever.
Yeah,
you do it for self-confidence. You can basically say what it is. That's like just close your eyes. There's this. Do that. And it's funny how when you come out of it, it feels like it happened. It changes your mind completely.
Absolutely.
Those who haven't tried meditation, try it. I was against it for so long.
Yeah, you
can
were.
recall that.
That's some BS. You were totally against
Well, I
it.
think it was because I wasn't doing the guy. I was trying to do like just the straight up do it myself type stuff. And I was like, what? Because you're like, sit there and imagine a tree. I'm like, I can't do that.
Yeah.
Do it and look at it as long as you can. I cannot do that, sir.
Guided meditations are definitely a lot easier for people, especially if a person can't concentrate. Like sometimes if they just have some white noise even.
Well, yeah, because it
helps
plays
them.
this noise in the background, some sound wave fancy things. And then there's someone talking. Just look up guided meditation and then whatever you want it for. And there's probably thousands of them on.
Bro, there's so
YouTube.
many. There's so many. The next one is physiological states, right? So this physiological states are your body states, your physical body states, how energetic you are, how tall you're standing, right? If your shoulders are back and your back is straight and your posture is good versus if you're slumped over, if you're smiling, these factors affect your self-confidence.
Yeah.
Yeah. So
It's like subconscious type stuff, right?
it is subconscious type stuff. It's been proven that people who stand straight with their shoulders back and their chest forward, they are more confident. That's as simple as
It's
that.
because body image, I guess, right? People see that as I'm not afraid if someone's going to come at me, right? Because you're opening your
chest.
your organs, right?
Exactly, 100%.
Who thought back when you were a caveman you could still do that stuff today? It shows the same thing.
Mm-hmm.
I think if you can do that, why not? Just stay open. Even if you're not confident, just do it.
And smiling, right? Like even if you're sad, they say smiling, even if you're sad and it's a forced smile, still do it because eventually it will become true.
Again, these are things where you're tricking your mind into believing things, right?
Exactly. And this leads into our next segment of building self-confidence, right? What are some of the things we can do to build self-confidence? And the first one, and in my opinion, the most important, is acting confidently. So a lot of people will say this is like fake it till you make it, but it's not like fake it till you make it. I like the saying act as if instead of fake it till you make it.
It seems like you're missing something on the end of it. Act as if what?
Act as if you're confident.
dot.
Yeah. Like act as if you're confident.
No, yeah.
Or like act as if.
But I feel like the act as if is too short of a phrase.
Yeah, maybe. But if you act as if you are confident, then the confidence will catch up with you. Versus fake it till you make it. It makes it feel like you're faking something.
You're hiding something. Or
exactly. It seems, I don't know. It seems a little deceiving.
Yeah.
Almost. So
you're just putting on an image, but I guess with the act as if, that is you.
That is you. Like you are a confident individual. The confidence just hasn't caught up.
Yeah. Yeah. Right? I think, that's something that's cool. And even if you use the fake it till you make it to think about it that same way, you just have to think this is truly who I am.
Exactly.
I think that's what it really comes down to, or else people can see through that, right? If you're trying to be super fake and they're like, oh, what's this guy doing?
Yeah.
Then it comes off as cocky and like, what is this guy trying to be? I guess it's untruthful is the real term for it.
Yeah, that is true. The next one we have is respond with confidence. So when you're faced with a situation that might be a little bit anxiety inducing or a stressful situation, respond with control and calmness. Don't respond with emotions and, act up and start being angry and flamboyant with it, right?
Yeah, I think that's lots of people see that in stressful situations, right? They just go straight off of emotion and stuff. That's why like first responders and stuff are so impressive because that's why, isn't it paramedics? They just walk. They're super calm, slow.
Yeah. Oh my God. They walk like to the scene. If they see a person dying in front of them, they will walk at a steady pace instead of running.
Well, because if they run, they'll freak out the people around them more. They'll freak out the person more. And their heart rate will go up, and they won't be. And
they're not even in control of their own things, right? Because like when you're going slow and steady, you're able to think everything through. You're able to process everything in front of you. Yeah. Right. So it's very important.
They do it. So then you're in control, right? Because as soon as you start going fast, think about a car. When the car goes fast, it's easier for it to lose control. Yeah. When you're going slow, you've got control at all times.
Exactly.
It's the same thing with that.
Yeah, and even if we think about examples in our own lives, if there is a time when a stressful situation happens, like the person who remains calm in stressful situations generally exudes more confidence.
Yeah.
They're perceived as having higher confidence, right?
Yeah. And they always seem like they're in control too.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. The next one is think confidently, right? In your own head, focus on motivational thoughts. Avoid judgmental thoughts, right? Focus on good times and good performances and good outcomes instead of bad ones. If you're a student and you're studying for a test, and you want to be more confident in the next test, think about all the times that you did really well on your tests. Don't think about the test that you failed.
Yeah, it'll
right?
just drag you down.
It'll drag you down, right? Think about the times where you performed the best, right?
Yeah, I think lots of people seem to put too much emphasis on the bad, right? Even though more often than not you have way more good than bad, they probably put 3 or 4 times the weight on the bad than the good.
Yeah.
So it makes the bad seem way worse than it actually is, right? And the good so minuscule. So I think trying to actually give them their true weight equally, right? Like 1 to 1. You notice how much more good there is. So why don't you focus on that?
Exactly.
That's like the news and stuff, man. They're always all focusing on the bad stuff when there's equally as much good stuff going on.
Yeah, this is a side point, but my theory, we could have an episode about this in the future. My theory is that the reason that we focus so much on the bad is because we are addicted to drama.
Well, the bad is more eye-catching. That's why the
Right.
news does it, because it's like, oh, I wonder what stuff happened today.
And I think there is a scientific argument to be made about that. I think some research will agree with this. But anyways, that's for a future episode. The next key to building self-confidence is developing a social climate that promotes confidence. Hang around people that are confident and you will naturally become more confident. If everyone around you is a loser, no offense, then odds are you're going to be a loser
Well, that's
too.
a little strong term,
Right?
but fair enough.
That's,
I think it's the same thing goes with like optimism versus pessimism, right? Like if you have
Exactly.
a group of people always looking at things down, it's bound to drag you down with them.
even if you try your hardest, you're going to go down with the ship, right?
Yeah. But if everyone's always optimistic and you're kind of pessimistic, they'll bring you up.
Mm-hmm. Exactly. And last but not least, to build self-confidence, develop plans whenever possible. So if you're going up for a speech and public speaking is something that you're not confident in, develop a plan of how you're going to approach that. If it's for a test, develop a plan for how you're going to approach the test. If it's for an interview, develop a plan how you're going to prepare for the interview. You can't always develop a plan, but developing a plan takes away the ambiguity associated with the event. And when you can take away some of that uncertainty, you can be more confident.
Oh, yeah. I think these parts that we talked about before go right into that, like acting confidently and responding with confidence. Like walking into an interview or a test or a presentation, shoulders back, body open, smile on your face.
Yeah.
And you're responding calm, smooth, peaceful, I guess, controlled to all the interview questions, any questions during the presentation as a whole, or even like the test, right? Like you're not rushing into a test, right? Like it's like lots of people like to zip through the test like right at the start. Like the thing I found is if you take like a breather, they're like, okay, go, deep breath, set yourself, and then open the book and then go smooth and not rushed.
Control is a big thing with confidence.
Like lots of people think, why are you doing that? You're wasting time on the test.
Yeah.
Well, you're never going to run out of time on a test if you know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So if you studied and prepared good, there's nothing to worry about.
It's like in the TV show Peaky Blinders.
I've seen like the first 3 episodes and I stopped watching.
Cillian Murphy in that show, his character is known for being very unreactive to stressful situations, right? He will have like a gun pointed to his head and his heart won't skip a beat. He'll be completely calm, completely neutral, and he won't be fazed by it. And that's the thing in his character that allows him to exude that confidence.
Yeah, I think it's all about putting on an image when it really comes down to it.
Yeah, I think if you practice it enough,
becomes
then
you.
Exactly, it's no longer something that you're trying to be. You're not trying to be confident. You just are confident, right?
And that shows that anyone can do it. You just have to
Exactly.
act for probably 2 weeks, I bet, and then it just becomes you.
Yeah. And last but not least, we're going to talk about 4 things to avoid when you're dealing with other people so that you don't put their self-confidence down, right? Oftentimes self-confidence is attached. A lot of times we attach self-confidence to other people, right? If people think that I'm good at something, or if I think people think that I'm good at something, then I will have higher self-confidence. So sometimes we want to be aware of our actions in front of other people so that we're not putting them down unintentionally.
Yeah.
The first one is don't use sarcasm and put downs in front of other people when you're talking about their behaviors. Right? Don't be sarcastic if a person asks maybe a dumb question, right? Stuff like that.
Yeah.
You know?
Everyone loves to use sarcasm and like these little innocent little knocks at people. But
Yeah.
They do break down people quietly. Right?
I know. Yeah, I'm really bad at this.
Oh,
I'm a huge this is a big issue in myself personally because I tend to be very sarcastic, but it's not a good thing. It really
I think
isn't.
it's part of it's who we surround our friends with. Like,
Yeah.
I think all of us are super sarcastic.
Yeah.
I think that's why it works, right? It's like, yeah, so
funny.
much for building each other up. Let's just give each other these little jabs every now and then. Say something. Yeah.
Yeah. The next one is don't criticize people for inconsequential errors, right? If a person makes a tiny little mistake and it really doesn't have a big impact on the grand scheme of things, don't criticize them for that. It will destroy their self-confidence. The third one is don't embarrass the person at the first sight of a mistake. If there's a new person, let's say you're at a job and there's a new guy, and they make a mistake because they're not used to it. It's their first time making that mistake. Don't embarrass them in front of everyone else and expose them like that, right?
Yeah.
You know, just let it go. Just let it go.
Or if anything, talk to them individually, not in the front of a group. Like make a little note, say, hey, this, or give them some advice. Don't necessarily call them out for their mistake. Say, hey, you might be able to do this to make that a little bit more accurate, or do this a little quicker or better, right?
Yeah, and tell it to them, you know, sort of off to the side.
Yeah,
a little
yeah.
bit,
Don't
right?
say it
Like
in the
off to
group. Yeah, say it one-on-one with
said.
them, and say it. Bring a positive out of it, not the negative, right? Say, hey, don't do this. Say, hey, maybe do this a bit more.
Exactly. And this leads into the final point. Don't criticize the person, criticize the behavior, right? So in terms of self-confidence, if a person does make a mistake, and people will make mistakes and you need to correct them and correct the behavior. Don't try to correct them as an individual, right? Don't say you suck at this. Say this action was done incorrectly.
Or you need to change this action because...
Right,
whatever.
exactly. But don't ever attach the negative thing to the person, because that will absolutely destroy a person's self-confidence.
And they follow that with everything they do, right? They're like, oh, I'm terrible at
Exactly.
It's like, no, it's just that one action you did. That thing, just don't do that.
Exactly. And so that's something that you have to make very clear, because oftentimes people will misinterpret this and they'll think that a criticism given to you is a criticism of your personality. It's a criticism of who you are as an individual, when in reality it's just a criticism of your behavior.
Yeah, like you said, it's all about separating the two, right? And I think as long as you say, hey, this behavior wasn't working because this and this, or that action wasn't the right one because this and this, instead of, hey, you don't know what you're doing, because then they put that on themselves, not the actions that they did.
Yeah. And so to summarize today's episode, we spoke about self-confidence. Self-confidence is the belief that you can successfully perform a desired behavior. To build your self-confidence, you're going to want to act confidently. You're going to want to respond with confidence, want to respond with control and calmness. Think confidently. Don't think about your bad times. Think about your good times. Foster a social environment. And whenever possible, develop plans. Take out that uncertainty from your actions, and it will help you be more confident in your execution. Thank you guys so much for tuning into today's episode. If you want to catch the full video podcast, you can catch it on YouTube. The full audio podcast is on essentially all platforms. And if you guys would like daily content, be sure to follow us on Instagram and TikTok and reach out to us. We would love to meet you guys and get to know you guys more. Thank you.